Hi, everyone. Dom Famularo here, back for Mapex All Access. This is exciting as we start this new year, 2022. So I wish you all a happy and a healthy new year. Let's bring this new year in with much better attention and luck that we've had from the past 2 years with this crazy world that we're in right now. So hopefully 2022 will give us a whole new opportunity to be able to get out there musically and play and have some fun and be able to share some more ideas. So thank you again for joining. We've been doing these for many, many years with Mapex. It's been very, very exciting to demonstrate and to showcase many, many great artists along the world of traveling that Mapex has globally. And Mapex really is a very, very dedicated company that really wants to bring artists in and showcase them and feature them in a way that excites you and lets you see the fact that Mapex is heavily involved in education at many, many levels. They want you to grow. This is all about you. And as we take this next level of what Mapex All Access is about, it's about education and it's about stepping closer in to a lot of these artists' lives and sharing ideas where they're going to explain certain things. You will then be given 3 questions that you'll have. You can then respond and go to info@lessonsquad.com, which I'll be showing you in the course of time as we go along. You'll respond the answers. There'll be 3 questions and there'll be 3 different winners. And as these winners win a lesson with Rashid, you'll be able to have access to talk to him and discuss with him. And this is incredible. So today I bring to you the great, and I got to tell you something, the legendary. This young guy is really playing some great stuff. So I want to bring him in here. Please welcome Mr. Rasheed Williams.
Hey, Don, what's up, man?
Great, Rashid. Thanks so much for joining me. This is so great to have you here on Mapex All Access.
Oh, no, it's so great to be here, man. I got to take you on the road with me with that introduction.
Oh, man. Hey, I went easy on you. If I'm on a row with you, I'll make you sound like the Pope. Absolutely.
Man, gotta love it, man. I love it so much. This is so great to do this, man.
I really believe in you, Rashid. What you're doing is you really are the next generation of these wonderful young players that are playing great. You're explaining things well. You're a great role model for the young generation. So there's so many great things that I really appreciate and admire on what you're doing. And I want the audience to understand that and really be able to see it.
Oh, well, that's so appreciated because, that's one of my biggest points of inspiration is actually what's coming after me. You know what I mean? I think a lot of these guys get caught up in telling me, oh, you're such an inspiration. And I love that. I appreciate that. But I don't think they realize that the inspiration is both ways, man. So these guys that are looking up to me and expecting me to show them the way that you and so many other guys have done for me. Hey, man, that's the true inspiration right there. It keeps me going.
Well, that's really fantastic. Well, I've been in this business for well over 55 years of playing professionally. It's been pretty interesting to experience the change of times with each decade as it goes on. And now, listen, we're into the 21st century, and we've entered the 3rd decade of the 21st century. So we really have to push this art form forward, and having someone like yourself to speak as clearly as you do and to speak as professionally as you do and to play as great as you do, this is exactly what the art form needs.
Well, I'm so appreciative to be a part of it. This is, music is a gift to all of us. So, we have to appreciate it every single day.
Boy, it really is good. And talking about that, now these past couple of years with the pandemic, Rashid, and I've talked to you since then, and there's an interview that I did with you that's on the Mapex YouTube channel that people can go back and watch that, some months ago. What's amazing about it, what have you been doing these past couple of years as far as how to balance what this insane pandemic has delivered to us?
So yeah, man, and it was a great talk we had, man. That in that point, we were still at the point of like, yo, I'm still setting up and getting used to having drums set up, recording at home, because at some point you realize that art doesn't stop. Even when the world stops, art never stopped. People still were being artistic, still being creative, still releasing music, still playing music. So it just switched to a virtual sense. So like we spoke about before, when the pandemic first hit, I immediately set up what you see now, which is just a home recording space so that I could go and record music and record drums for people, which I've had the pleasure of recording for some really great artists, man. And once we got down to this part, now as the pandemic started progressing, this became more of a practice space. So I was really thankful for that because I've never really had a real practice space. It's always been, rehearse for tour, do the tour, get home, take a break from drums, rehearse for tour again, do the tour. Now it's more like, hey, I feel like playing some drums. I can go upstairs and actually just have a practice space. So it's been really good the past couple years. Not to mention last year, the end of the year, touring came back. Go figure. Touring came back. We were on a tour bus. We played venues with people. It was really great. I was honored, man, to do the Bigger Love tour with John Legend. It was the most beautiful experience because this is an audience that has been waiting for live music again. So that was like the culmination of the past 2 years, the end of last year, getting back on the road, Bigger Love tour with John Legend. It was incredible.
Boy, tell me about just that tour. So here you are, you're going back out there, first of all, which is fantastic that you're out there and you're playing for people, and these audiences. And listen, John Legend is a seasoned pro at so many levels. I'm
Indeed.
just a huge fan of not only his writing, his singing, his piano playing, and just how he handles himself on the voice. I mean, he's just so articulate, in how he delivers, inspiring the next generation of singers.
Yes. He's big on that. I mean, they always say, you want people around you that are far beyond where you are because it gives you something to work toward.
Yeah.
And I think he's the epitome of that. I've been in his band I'm in my 14th year now.
Wow.
And it's one of those things where he constantly keeps the bar set so high that it keeps you wanting to work. And I mean that across the board. Musically, he works hard. He's always writing. So it keeps you wanting to always create. But then outside of music, he's really, really into giving back. This tour that we just did, I mean, dude, he literally was bringing out some of the contestants from The Voice that had been on his team in the past. Whenever we would get to their city, they would come out and do a duet with him so that they can gain more exposure. So you talk about that next generation, man. That guy, John, is really, really into pushing the next generation forward, which keeps me constantly like, hey, if he's doing it and he's the boss, you know what I mean? I'm going to make sure I do it because it's just so cool to see somebody at his level still inspiring.
So when these young artists that he's meeting in each different city comes on, do they have music of their own, or are they working stuff with John? How does that work out as far as what you have to learn to perform with them?
So what happens is, if folks watch The Voice, like I'm sure you do, there's always a point where the judge or the coach, does a duet with pieces and parts of their team, folks in their team. Which I don't know if folks know, those songs are usually released on iTunes as a duet between the coach and the contestant. We basically would do those exact songs, which is all cover songs, songs like Rocket Man, stuff like that, really classic tunes. So literally, man, it's like we get the recording the night before, the show that person is going to come up. We show up to sound check, and everybody has to be a professional, man. You got to learn the music, take some time in the hotel room or on the tour bus, put your headphones on and listen through the material. So by the time we would get to sound check the next day, we're ready to go. We get to sound check, the band runs it one time, then we bring up the contestant, we run it with them one time, then John comes up, they run it together one time, and then we're ready to do a show. So it was a quick process every time, but professionalism works wonders.
Boy, this really is so great to hear. I want to ask, how do you prepare for the chart? Do you write a chart out when you listen to a song that you have to hear, whether it's Rocket Man or a pop tune that you know of? I'm sure there are other ways in how they play it that you've got to learn the arrangements. So do you write notes out? How do you prepare yourself?
My system is quite basic, honestly, because we don't write charts out. And I mean, it's a thing where I always tell people, if you are a reading musician, that is great. That is incredible. However, there is no harm in creating a system of retaining the material that does not require a piece of paper. Right. So for me, I have a system that I've been using for God knows how long. It's been years at this point. And it's quite simple. So with a song like Rocket Man, I love that song because there's so many dynamic points in that tune that once I got the basic format down, because you listen to the song, you're going to say, okay, there's an intro goes into the verse goes into the chorus goes back into another verse, back into a chorus. If there's a bridge, you'll say, okay, then we do the bridge. If there is not a bridge, then we're going straight to the vamp out. Once we get past that point of just understanding the basic format, then we want to dig deep and say, for me, I'm going to listen to patterns. I'm going to say, well, what is the verse pattern? Is there drums in the first verse? A song like Rocket Man, there's no drums at the top of that tune. So I'm like, okay, I'm sitting out and I might count the bars. I might say, hey, so for the first 16 bars, I'm not doing anything. Bar 17 is when I drop in. And usually that coincides with, for the verse, I'm not doing anything. When the chorus comes in, that's when the first drums drop. And sometimes even it's very normal for the drums to come in halfway between halfway into the verse. So my system is I learn the format, then I learn the patterns. Then once I got the format and the patterns, at that point the song is known. All you got to do is sit down and create the feel. So the feel to me is the most important part. I feel like once I've learned the format and all the patterns within that song, I'm going to go back and listen to the song as a listener, not as a drummer. I'm going to find out what makes me enjoy the tune. That's the feel. So once I get the feel down, now I'm ready to get into rehearsal and play it with the band.
Boy, that's so great. So basically what you do is you kind of listen to the entire piece and get the form of the song.
Yeah.
And once you understand the form, and the form could be intro, A section, B section, verse to chorus, verse, chorus, back to the intro, and then out of the song or something like that. It could have that kind. So you got to take that in and retain the form. That is fantastic.
Yeah, man. I mean, retention is probably one of the biggest blessings in drumland, in my opinion. I think that a lot of drummers underestimate the power of retention and being able to be the backbone in that, because we are the backbone, we are the foundation of rhythm in any band. So if we can retain what's going on, that means we can set up the sections right, because sometimes a typical lead and fill does a lot for a song. So if we can do those things, that's all based on retention. So, I always tell drummers, don't ever underestimate the power of retention when it comes to a song, whether it be a jazz piece where it's a lot of free form, or a pop or R&B piece where it's very solid format.
Boy, that really is fantastic. So what drum set did you take on? This was your recent tour, right?
Yes, this was the most recent tour I've done, was the Bigger Love tour with John Legend. That I took out, man. So I get excited when I talk about these drums. So excuse my excitement down. I took out a beautiful, beautiful Saturn Evolution kit. It was white. It was it sang every night. If anybody caught that show, I was getting messages in my inbox. I was hearing from folks. Just everybody's like, yo, these drums sound incredible. And the beauty of it is the way they felt is the same way I feel. I enjoyed playing my drum kit every single night.
Boy, it's really amazing when you say that, because behind me, this kit right here, this is also an Evolution kit.
Nice.
And it just sounds so great and just so clean. And it's so much fun to play, because when you hit the drums, the heads really respond, and it's just very alive, the kit.
Yeah, I would encourage a lot of drummers to go out there and learn a few things about their drum kit. And I think that this is something that gets talked about once in a while, but just not quite enough. Yeah. There's a few things I think that make a drum kit what it is. And I think drummers have to know what makes their relationship to the drum kit one or the other, meaning good or bad or easy or hard, or, those things. When you can connect with your drums, that comes from knowing the kit and knowing what makes that kit like that. So Saturn Evolution, which I'm sure you've experienced on, like you said, when you play these toms, they explode in front of you. It's beautiful. Yet the follow through is so soft on them. Like, it really feels like you're one with the kit. And that comes from the mounting system, which is a big thing. I always tell drummers, like, learn about the mounting system of your drums. If you feel like you're playing drums and you're not getting any real movement, pay attention to the mounting system as well as the heads that you're putting on them. Now, the beauty part of these drums that I've learned is that the mounting system really gives it chances to breathe when need be. Being able to close and open some of the resonance of the drum is massively just beautiful to have that extra little piece of editing power.
Yeah.
So mounting system is something I always encourage people look at the mounting system and see what that is. The other thing that I know has been a big topic lately, because all the drummers want to talk about it, is what shells the drums are made of. Because as you know, and as I know, some shells feel differently. Sometimes you want certain shells in certain places because low end sounds better in certain wood and high end comes across better in other types of wood. So, I always tell drummers, learn the shell, which is also what makes everything we do with the Saturn Evolution stuff so special, because you can literally mix the shell combinations between each drum and you get the hybrid setup, which, as you know, is like really, really big right now. Being able to take one wood combination on one drum and then move it to a different wood combination on another drum is quite incredible. On tour, all my drums were maple walnut hybrid shells. It's a beautiful setup. At home to record on, like these drums right here, these are my babies. These are like my favorites. These drums, I'm playing a complete hybrid setup. So my rack toms are birch walnut. My floor toms are maple walnut. My kick drum is maple walnut. And my snare is maple walnut. So when you hear the drums, you can feel the birch attack from my rack toms. And then you get that warm maple vibe from the low end, which is the kick and the floor toms. And there's nothing like a classic maple shell on a snare drum. So yeah, it's really interesting to be able to take that configuration and make it my own and say, hey, these are the combinations of shells that I know would make me sound better and make me feel the drums more.
So I want to clarify a couple of things. So the tour that you were just on, you played the Saturn Evolution.
Yes.
And what color was the kit?
White, beautiful white.
White. It's just such
Classic.
a very classy color. I know it. So on that kit on the tour, so you're going from city to city playing that drum set. How consistent was that Evolution drum set on that tour?
If any of my tour partners are watching this right now, they're gonna be mad at me for saying this, but it's the truth. Call my phone if we got problems. It's the truth. That drum set was the most consistent part of that tour. That drum kit literally delivered every single night. And when I say every single night, I'm talking the drums sang properly in all these different venues, because stages are different sizes, man. Some stages are really wide, not so deep. Some stages are really deep, not so wide. And distance from the crowd is a thing. Some stages I'm further back because the stage is deeper. Some stages I'm right in front of the crowd. I can see the first 20 rows because the stage isn't as deep. Those drums consistently delivered in every single venue, every single night. And I played those drums, Dom. I did not take it easy on those drums. And I played those drums, man. They delivered consistently, man. I was so impressed with their tour performance of those drums.
Well, that's so great. So the Saturn Evolution is what you used on the recent tour with John Legend, which is it's so fantastic. But yet this kit that you put together, this hybrid kit, just explain it again, because I want everyone to understand what you have. You've got birch rack toms.
Yes.
And that creates a certain sound for you. So just describe that sound of what that gives you in those rack toms.
So one thing I learned actually from Mapex drums, if I'm being totally honest, when there was some years ago, Mapex had when they came out with the Mars series, and they were made of birch.
Yeah.
I remember playing that drum kit the first time. Like I'm down in Nashville and I'm at headquarters and I'm playing this kit. And the first word that came out of my mouth was, "This is the most punchy set of drums I've ever played. They're loud, they have dynamics, but they punch you. You can feel that attack." So what a great gentleman by the name of Joe Hibbs explained to me, in one of his many teachable moments was what birch does to a shell. So birch has always been just a very loud wood. A lot of rock drummers love birch for that reason. I'm one who loves birch, but in the hybrid aspects of how they mix the birch with the walnut, you get the warmth and you get this attack that cuts through everything. And when you're playing drums, I mean, you want to make sure you pick the tones that people will be able to connect with through the music. So if I'm playing hip hop R&B, I want to make sure that when I go to my rack times, they're nice and loud and present, but still warm. Even if I'm playing a rock tune, I want to make sure that the toms are nice and loud and still warm. So yeah, these are birch walnut shells. When I tell you attack, everybody's gonna hear them when I play them, but the attack is there. The rack times are nice and punchy. It cuts through all the low winds so that you still get a consistent vibe when you're going around the drum kit.
Boy, I'm pulling up the. Let me bring us back in again. Let me move this one out of here. I'm pulling up the side view so they can see that side angle.
Yeah.
Drums and what it is. So this kit here, this is your own kind of like your kind of a hybrid kit that you use, and I want people to understand that this Rasheed Williams hybrid setup is a personal choice of what you've chosen because of the sound. So Mapex gives you the opportunity of really being able to get to develop your sound that works best for you, that you want consistently. That is huge.
I mean, I always said that, Dom. We've had these conversations so many times, man, where I'm like, I do not think drummers truly understand the power of being able to choose what will inspire you the most.
Right.
So when I'm playing these drums, I love all maple drums. Maple shells are great. Maple walnut hybrid, great. I love it. However, being able to have a little more punchy feel on my rack times, that's my personal feel to say, now this inspires me to play the drums differently, because I know when I do something, I have full range of sound to be as effective as possible when playing the music I'm playing, especially at home recording, because that's a whole different thing. There is no live venue energy in this one room. So people are listening different. They're listening for the little intricate, meticulous little things that I'm able to say, okay, I'm going to use birch walnut times and then maple walnut floor times, because that's what's going to cut through the best in the recording. So when I'm sending this thing off to people, they just love what they hear. So you got to be able to pick what inspires you. I tell drummers, if your drum set does not inspire you to be better, then you're playing the wrong drums.
Right. Point well taken. That's a very, very good point. Which I'm so impressed with Mapex, because I've got a Saturn kit and I have the Evolution kit, and they really just, whenever I play them, it really is a different feel and sound that does inspire me. So that's a great point.
And that's the thing. I mean, we know, like, Mapex has so many different drums that you can choose from, and it's all pick your pleasure, not your poison. Pick your pleasure, because if you say, I love the Saturn sound because Saturn is beautiful, that maple walnut hybrid shell is amazing. It's gorgeous. It has a sound of its own. You might say, well, you know what? The thing is, I want a little more punchy, feel from my rack times. My floor times nice and deep with that maple walnut, but my rack times, I could take a little more thump out of those. Hey, move up to Saturn Evolution and you're able to get just that. You're able to say, all right, my rack times, I want this combination of a shell, and my floor times and my kick, I want this. Some drummers do it the other way. They say, hey, I want my kick drum to be as punchy as possible and just loud and thumpy. You might want to do a birch walnut kick drum, because that's what'll give you that sound. And the thing is, to have that flexibility, I mean, come on, man. I don't know too many situations where you can have that much flexibility with your drum kit.
Boy, absolutely. And what's interesting about what Mapex, which I'm still so impressed with, the shell is relatively thin.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a thin shell, that's why they put the walnut in there to give the shell strength, but they sandwich this in between either birch or maple.
Yes.
doing that, they could still have a thin shell, and a thin shell just allows the drum to vibrate more and just gives more projection to the sound. So a thinner shell gives that kind of vibration and projection, and that walnut gives the strength, but of course that birch and that maple gives the tone of the sound. So it's a pretty creative process of what they've got along there.
100%. And not to mention, somebody actually asked me about this because I had this conversation with a drummer friend of mine. And the question, Dom, it's always, what's the big deal with these Saturn Evolution drums? Okay, cool. Part of the big deal is what you just said. The thinner shells allows so much more resonance. The sound, it sings. However, let's make sure we also note that the plies get thicker as the drums get bigger. So you're not playing a 10-inch rack time is not the same ply count as a 16-inch floor time, because when you get to the 16, you might want that thicker, as I like to call it, thunder sound. You know what I'm saying? So Mapex even took the time to say, hey guys, let's really make sure that these drums accommodate every single aspect of being able to create your sound, build your sound, and have it be something that is special to you, something that inspires you. So with the shells being everything they are, they also get thicker and ply count as you get into the bigger drums, which I think is just masterful.
Boy, that is so well said. So well said, Rashid. It's interesting. So I got to ask you, how long have you been playing Mapex?
I started playing Mapex when I was 18 years old. And I often tell the story because it's so beautiful. I was in London and they had just pulled out a Coffee Burst Mapex Orion kit. And the guy, I got there, the sound guy was like, yeah, these drums just came in. It was at I think it was Jazz Cafe in London. The guy said, these drums just came in. And he was like, you're the first guy to play them, man. You want to go ahead and take them out and set them up? I said, most definitely. And dude, I mean, they didn't have, brand new heads. I used the heads that came in the box with the drums. And as soon as I got those drums set up and I played the first little bit of just checking them out, I was like, yep, I never want to play another drum set again. This is it for me. And the rest has been history. I'm not going to tell my age. However, it has been quite some time that I've been honored and had the pleasure, man, to play these amazing drums. And I've gotten to watch them grow so much because over time, as you know, Dom, Mapex has constantly been innovative. This hasn't been a, as they say, one trick pony. This has been a, hey, man, let's really listen to the drummers because the drummers know. And let's do what we know works for drummers. So it's been an amazing journey.
It's funny you mentioned the name of the late great Joe Hibbs.
Yeah,
Joe was a dear friend of mine for well over 40 years. I go back to the late 70s with Joe, and he was just such an incredible creative person himself. But he was a part of the Mapex team, and now we're very fortunate. We've although we've lost Joe, we've gained Mark Bennett, and Mark Bennett is now a completely creative mind that allows us to step into this innovation. And the whole Mapex team, from Jeff Mulvihill to Rick DeYoung to all these guys, to Jerry Goldenstone, this team is just so amazing globally of how they allow the creativity and the not being afraid to take risk and try something different, not only with the shells, but also with the hardware. And look what Russ Miller created. The whole Design Lab series is a whole nother creative process that's available for people to step into.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, there is no company with better support and a better family than Mapex drums. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. All my drummer friends call me. We can fight about it later. But I know the truth. And like you said, Mark has been amazing because, when you have a force that we know as Joe Hibbs, right? You have because he was a force. Yeah. When you have a force like him that is so innovative in the way he moves, you only hope that the next person that comes and really is solid in the company is going to carry the torch, but also bring new innovative ways to build what is already there. And Mark has done that and more. Like there's too many times that Mark will say something to me and I'll say, I haven't heard that phrase since Joe Hibbs was here. And he's like, wow. I'm like, dude, you are taking it to the next level. I mean, people can just do a quick search on Mapex's Instagram page, and you will see all the beautiful videos and all the beautiful points of connection that we now have with drummers. And man, I give that credit to that team, man. Mark Bennett heads it up great. Mulvihill, my man, Jeff Mulvihill, I love that guy.
Good guy.
Jerry and Jerry and Rick, like everybody, man. These guys are just the best in the business.
And they support you. And you've got a big support team. Even here, for example, you've got a support team. You can see.
I can see that face from here.
They all say hello from what's happening. So you've got a great support team.
I saw that face pop up. I said, well, I know that face.
You better know that face for sure.
Hey, Mrs. Williams.
That has been well. So I got to clarify a couple of things. So the last tour, you took the Evolution out.
Yes.
Your home kit, the hybrid kit, has got the birch toms and the maple floor toms and bass drum and snare drum.
Yes, sir.
And you started playing drums, Mapex drums, at 18. In the UK, you did it. So these are things that we're discussing. And later on, I want to have people contact the Lesson Squad. Now, this is going to be kind of interesting because what the Lesson Squad is about, this is incredible. thelessonsquad.com/Rasheed-Williams. You go there and you'll be able to find out about what Rasheed's doing. And they're going to offer 3 free lessons. And at the end of this session, I'm going to bring back the questions again, and you'll go there and you'll answer one of the questions, answer correctly. Then Rasheed, you'll pull it out and they can go to they can even go to info@lessonsquad.com and answer the questions there. You'll contact them. We'll be in touch with them and set up the lessons of what we can do. And of course, Lesson Squad will pay you, Rasheed. So we want everyone to know that Lesson Squad is also investing in the future generation of this young crowd to go out there and seek lessons and learn from Rasheed and pull us all off. So the Lesson Squad is an incredible organization that is really pushing forward some great ideas with education.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that Lesson Squad has cracked a particular code, and it's so innovative because to have a website platform, that has a lot of great drummers, a lot of great musicians, because people, Lesson Squad is not just drums, it's musicians. So, you have all these great musicians and it gives you access to us directly. The other thing that's really cool is that Lesson Squad also shows you all the gear we're using, which I think is one of the coolest features because people, they constantly ask the question, well, what are you playing right now? What are you doing right now? What are you playing right now? How to choose to play this? Lesson Squad has everything right there, from the drums to the cymbals, to the microphones, to the drumsticks. Everything is right in front of you to say, what sticks is Rasheed playing? Boom, there it goes. What drums is Rasheed playing? Boom, there it goes. And you can still hit me up and have access to me through that platform. So Lesson Squad, man, shout out to Jimmy and those guys over there, because they are incredible at what they're setting up for the next generation within education.
It really is, and they're thinking about the next generation, and that's really kind of where the magic is with even what Mapex is doing with this all access and having Lesson Squad involved. Now, I want you to play a track for us, because I want everyone to kind of enjoy the fact that as you're talking about the drums, we want to hear it with the music. I want you to play a track. What track do you have to play for us?
This track does not have a name just yet. It's the track that I actually, man, it's so funny. Give a little quick background point. So initially when I did this track, this is what I call one of the many pandemic tracks. I had gotten a call from Mark Bennett at Mapex and he said, hey man, we're trying to get back into having guys coming in and doing videos. We got these great, beautiful Saturn Evolution drums here waiting for you to come play them. And I was like, all right, cool, I'm going to come. So I wanted to do some music that not only was cool musically, but also was dynamically something that people could feel the drama of where we were in life when it came down to pandemic, because some of us literally didn't leave the house for months.
Yeah.
So, at the point of us doing this particular, me working on this piece of music, it was at a point where I was like, okay, this is going to be the first time people get to see me play drums outside of my house. Because I'm traveling to Mapex and I'm going to get on an airplane and I'm going to, we're going to be around each other wearing masks. We're going to do the social distancing. We're going to be safe. But I'm going to leave the house and I'm going to play drums, and people are going to be able to actually see a drum performance that's not from home. So it was really special. There's a lot of drama into it. And furthermore, I cannot go without it, like really acknowledging today being Martin Luther King Day. This track fits perfectly because the drama that's in it also ties us to that as well. So Martin Luther King being a massive, massive influence in history, especially the history of colored folks. This is something that this track specifically also caters to because of the fact that it was done in such a stressful environment. You can feel the tension, you can feel the buildup. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna play. It's a cool track, man. I hope everybody enjoys it.
Well, fantastic, Bill. Well, MLK, man, he's smiling right now as he knows that you're playing this song for him and for the spirit of his civil rights movement forward, which his son and his daughter are carrying on. They're marching now into Washington to continue to the vision of Martin Luther King's, incredible legacy. And so it's powerful. So let's hear this track, man. This sounds fantastic. Thank you.
Most definitely. Enjoy. That was fun.
Holy mackerel, that was absolutely fantastic. What a beautiful, beautiful, well-placed tune. And boy, you played that great, Rashid. You really did.
I appreciate that, man. I tell you what, it's something about drums that allow you to interpret what you want to interpret.
Yeah.
So it's funny, Dom. I tell you, man, here's what I say. Like, you are a massive inspiration, right? So if people go to Mapex's YouTube, they'll hear me play this track in a whole nother way.
Yeah.
And when we talk about the flexibility, being able to express yourself openly with these drums, today's vibe was much different than the vibe that day.
Right.
The vibe that day was, I'm finally out of the house. You know what I'm saying? And that was a massive thing. Today's vibe was, today's a very important day in history, and being able to show homage to Martin Luther King Day. And same drums, same, because even in that video, I played Birch Toms up top, maple floor, maple kick, maple snare. But the drums sing differently because they can give you everything. So I play them differently. They give me back a different level of understanding to then convey to everyone out there. So I hope everybody enjoyed it. Like, I love playing these drums. I could have played for another 35 minutes. But anyway.
Well, I'll tell you something. We'll be doing more of these different sessions, and we'll have you play more for sure as we go along. We've got people from all around the world that have logged on, and even Mark Bennett has joined us too. So it's great to see Mark joining us too. But
hey,
we've got people from all throughout Europe and around the world as they're hearing your voice and your message of what you're saying. And there's a powerful inspiration that comes in specifically from a day like today, where we celebrate the life of this leading spirit that guided us along the way to right wrongs that are still being corrected.
Yes, sir.
And it's pretty amazing as we see that. And, art is about that level of expression. So what you felt from that song, from this day, and the fact that even that kit that you have, you're in your home studio right now. When you're in a different studio playing and you've got the drum sounding in a different room, mic'd up differently, all of that all those variables come into play to make us express ourselves differently in each situation.
And so that's so true, man. And I think it's something that we have to talk about more. We have to acknowledge it more, and we have to utilize it more. You know what I mean? We have to utilize being able to express ourselves through our art way more. And can't say it enough, man. Mapex has been massively vocal about that. They have been massively open about, hey guys, express yourself the way you choose. And we only pray and hope that our drums can be the ones that, are the catalyst to doing it. And it's been proven, every time. That's exactly how it works. You play the drums and it hits something different to, inspiration wise, and inspires you differently. And then you say, well, I want to play the same drums, but I want to play this other vibe, and I want to touch this other level of art. And then it just impresses you more and more when you get back on the drum kit and you go, oh, wow, I can still use these drums and still, get my message across and be effective within my creativity. So yeah, man, it's art is everything. We have to continue to press forward with art. That is probably the number one message I can give to people in 2022.
Well, the message is heard loud and clear. And we've got people literally from all around the world here. Check this out. I mean, here's from Handy Drummer. This man is underrated, an incredible drummer.
Thanks.
Larry Rizzo, lots of great musicality and feeling in your playing. Thanks so much. I mean, this is just incredible. Encore. I mean, this is just incredible to see the people that are commenting about just, someone, whew, damn, this one here. I like that. And people here also commenting, I love this track. I've always loved it when I saw it first on the Mapex YouTube page. Always inspiring. Thank you all the way from South Africa. So your message is being heard loud and clear. Here's just one that just says, sheesh.
Well, I tell drummers, man, it's like you got to find the marriage. And I appreciate when people listen to me play and they can connect with what I do. I appreciate when people hear me play and they can feel what I do. But, for drummers that might wonder, well, how do I connect to my craft like that? I tell you, man, you gotta for one connect with yourself, know
Yeah.
who you are. Then you have to find the proper tools that help you build the picture that you're trying to build. You know what I'm saying? And this just happens to be my tools of choice and have been for a very, very, very long time. So I appreciate everyone who feels this.
Like I say, you're reaching people. Here's Nina Para, a wonderful female drummer from Sao Paulo, Brazil, who is again, listening in and so impressed with what's happening. So a couple of things now, just while I have you here, we just have a few minutes left. When you're playing and going around the kit, is there any kind of a warm up pattern that you play on the kit, like when you sit down that you just play just to kind of feel the kit and get to understand after you set up a kit?
Most definitely. There's two in particular that I think I use a lot, and a lot of drummers often ask me about this, and it's really cool, right? So I'll make this decently fast so that everybody can understand it, and everybody will see what I'm saying. So two major exercises that I think drummers should do, and in turn, you'll be able to use these as what we call fills or chops. I do not like the phrase gospel chops because that's really weird to say to me. It's like just because I play a fill in church does not make it a gospel chop. It's just a chop. It's a fill. That's all it is. And I chose to play it on that gig. I play the same chops on every other gig I do. So, a couple things that I think will help. And the first one, I'll explain it before I play. The first one is going to be a conversation between my right hand, my left hand, and my right foot is going to follow my right hand. This is one of those things where I think it teaches us one, because a lot of right-handed drummers, especially, the dominant hand is the hand that does all the work, while usually the non-dominant hand kind of stays in one spot. So in this exercise, my dominant hand is going to stay in one spot. My non-dominant hand is going to be the one that moves around the kit. And this is all doubles, nothing more than doubles. This is a simple double stroke exercise. So here it is. I'll play it slow and I'll play it fast. Now, I also want to note that with that exercise, the accent can change. So if you're playing certain grooves, which I'll demonstrate next, and you want to kind of move the accent to a different spot within the double, you can do that too. So check this out. So very simple, yet very effective. Only doubles, and it'll get your, for my right-handed guys, it'll get your, and girls, it'll get your left hand moving around the drum kit way more freely. And now the dominant hand is the chill hand. We just staying up here on the ride. You can move it around the crashes if you wanted to. But the left hand, the non-dominant hand, is the one that's doing the majority of the work. Now, if you're a left-handed player, then by all means, usually your ride is going to be off to your left side, whether it be left hand or open handed. Your ride is going to be off to your left side. You would just switch it. So left hand would be the dominant that stays on the ride cymbal or a crash. The right hand now is the non-dominant hand, but that's going to be the hand doing all the movement. So that's one exercise. It's really, really cool. Another one, because I know we're running out of time. Another one is the same exact concept, except we're going to move both hands around the drum kit. and we're gonna go doubles only, alternating between kick and hands. So this is what that sounds like. Another very simple, easy, once practiced concept that can really, I mean, that concept can go a million different ways, a million different grooves. That's just one of them. Both of those concepts can be used so openly and so freely. And I think they've been very helpful in my playing. I often use those concepts. I would encourage you guys to practice those things. And I believe some folks are going to win some lesson squad lessons with me. So if you are the winner of that, we can expound heavily on those concepts.
Boy, well said, Rashid. And I had the side angle, your side cam, folks, so you could completely see what you were doing so well. And what's cool about it is that you were adapting that pattern, that fill, as 16th note triplets. So what was great the way that came out, that it adds a certain level of excitement when you go into triplet form like that, which was just executed so well and done so well. So you mentioned the lessonsquad.com/Rasheed-Williams.
Yep.
That's what they have. What they can do is they can go to this info@thelessonsquad.com and answer one of the three questions. The first question is going to be about your hybrid kit.
Yep. The first question will be, what is my at-home hybrid configuration? Meaning the Saturn Evolution kit that I'm playing, we mentioned it quite a few times. What is my hybrid configuration at my house with my Saturn Evolution kit?
That's question number one. Absolutely. Now, question number two is talking about the tour that you just played. What kit did you use on that tour?
No. The question number two is going to be, what was the tour that I just completed?
Oh, what was the tour that you completed? Okay.
What was the tour that I just completed? So I mentioned that I just finished a tour. I'll even tell you the artist. It was with John Legend, but it's a name of a tour. And if you can answer and send it to info@lessonsquad.com, if you can answer what tour did I just complete with John Legend, then yeah, you'll get a lesson.
Fantastic. And the third one was how old you were when you started playing Mapex drums.
Yep, we have mentioned that quite a few times. So yeah, man, I encourage everyone, because this is what we're like, this is the moment, right? This is where I get to be inspired by those who watched and those who will look at it on YouTube, or like, this is where we get to connect. Answer the three questions, info@lessonsquad.com, send your answers, and you will then get a promo code from me. Say, hey, type this in and we'll do our lesson. We'll make it fun, man. It's going to be a great time.
Boy, the Lesson Squad makes it so easy, and as does Mapex. They just make it so inspiring that we have this accessibility to reach great artists like yourself and be able to get some lessons and even go over some of the patterns that you shared. This interview although it's live on YouTube and Facebook, what's great about it is it's, people can go back to the Mapex YouTube channel and watch these interviews again. So it just gives them a chance to kind of get involved in what's happening and have some fun with all of this.
Yeah, no, I would totally encourage everybody, go to YouTube, check it out, because at the end of the day, this is never enough time, right, Don? We get together and we talk, and it's never enough time.
That's right.
So at least with YouTube, you can go back and rewind it, and you can watch what I did even while I was playing the track. Like, you can say, oh man, and then if you win the lesson, you can say, yo, you did this thing at such and such minutes and such seconds, and I'll go back, I'll look at it, and we can discuss how to, incorporate that piece of my playing into your playing. Like I said, this is me and Dom can do this all day. We could literally hang out days at a time doing this.
And we'll do this again in the future too as we go along.
Yeah.
We'll bring you back again, Rasheed. Boy, Rasheed, as always, it's always a great honor to have you here, and you've always been an inspiration to me and many others. You're playing great. You speak well. You really are a great role model for the art of modern drum set playing. And I want you to keep on traveling. If you get into the New York area with your traveling, make sure you give me a call. Let's touch base and get together and hang out for sure. I'd love to see you in person.
Most definitely, man. I got to give you a huge hug next time I see you. And thank you, Dom. I mean, you have literally spearheaded this thing, man, making sure that education is a massive part of the drum community. And for that, I say thank you. You inspire me constantly, man. If my smile was as gorgeous as yours, I'd probably be way further in the drum industry. But, I really, man, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for doing everything you do. And shout out to Mapex, Mark Bennett, Jeff Moverhill, Rick DeHorge, and Jerry Goldenson. You guys are all great, man. This is amazing.
Boy, fantastic. Rasheed, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us from all around the world, from Brazil, from Germany, from Argentina, from Brussels and Antwerp and Belgium. This is amazing how many people we have on there. Thank you all very much for joining us. We'll see you all soon. Rasheed, thank you so much. Stay well, and my love to everyone.
Thank you. Peace out, everybody.
Thanks.